Huh? Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. As you guys may know, I'm your girl, Red Gal Sasha, and I'm going to talk today about the topics that have been going into play, basically therapy on the air and therapy on the air in uncomfortable spots and languages. So you see, I don't know if you guys can see the topic line below on my page. So if you don't follow, please like and share the Let's Talk About It page, and simply please like and share this video with a hashtag of Red Guy Sasha. Let's talk about it. Spread love, not hate. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining in tonight. The topic line below on the Let's Talk About It page, and it's not really in the live, but that's okay. Is the education system overly sexualizing or fantasizing gender and sexuality, because those are two different things in itself. We'll get down to that. That is the topic line for the night. So don't even worry about it if you guys feel uncomfortable about getting to that. We kind of like warm up into it. So where do we start? Where do we start? Because it's been what I want to say it's been like 2 weeks. So I'll introduce my co-host and my mentor, Andre the Torch Robinson. And we are closely affiliated. Once again, I am still the brand ambassador for Rise Up Family. So shout out to Rise Up Family. He ain't here coming in here like Rocky, Mike, and everybody else. And so we are going to get into the business. We're going to do sports first. Run
Man,
it back.
listen. I'm glad to be here. It's a phenomenal atmosphere right here in the heart of the city, right here, Apollo Media Center. Shout out to the Apollo Media Center channel 1302 on Spectrum Cable. And if you do not have the app, you need to go get this app. All right, let's talk about it. Get the app right now so you can watch more. Let's talk about it. Episodes 2 on Apollo Media Center Buffalo app. You can get it if you got Android, if y'all got wars between Android and iPhone. If you
So
got
Google
any of
Play
those, the Google Play,
and iOS or the
iOS,
Apple Store.
Apple Store, any of those, you can get it. All right, make sure y'all go get it. All right, because it's super important to watch phenomenal shows as such. Let's talk about it. You wanted to talk about sports first? Come on, I thought you. You know what? To be honest with you, let's get that out the
Let's
way.
just
Can we get that out the way?
let's get this out the way.
Let's get the sports stuff out the way. First and foremost, the Buffalo Bills,
Shout out to
obviously,
y'all.
Bills Mafia. You see the plethora of hats. Yeah, man. Listen, you can call in too, 716-481-8249. I got a question of the day for Let's Talk About It, y'all. How many close games have the Buffalo Bills lost in a row? Now, if you can answer that question correctly, all right, I got a Buffalo Bills hat here for you. All right. Now, they did play the Dolphins. We all know what happened. Tua came back in the game. It's one of the biggest sports talked about stories right now.
Controversial topics of the
Very
week.
controversial. Tua Tagovailoa came back in that game. Miami Dolphins beat the Bills, in which I felt like the Buffalo Bills did a thorough choke job. By the way,
Most
thorough
definitely did.
thorough choke job. Josh Allen did a thorough choke job, and defense once again late in games. Giving up big plays with Tua, who was I feel was concussed, shouldn't have came back in the game. But then we also had something that happened just yesterday. that same quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, played against the Cincinnati Bengals, in which he took another headshot, and that headshot caused him to have some traumatic. I don't even know if it's
It's
TBI or
TBI, maybe a little partial paralysis, maybe.
paralysis. Yeah.
I personally don't think that he should have went within the guidelines of the NFL as far as like the approach on how to handle head injuries because as we know over and over again, the previous things and previous other players they
Mhm.
went to CSE, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
no. He's trying to stay away from that type of
but
stuff.
then that cannot lead to like malpractice on like the sports staff.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm going to research a little bit more on the exact parameters of the NFL in this whole situation. Who's at fault? Is it the Miami Dolphins? Is it the NFL? Is it the team in itself? Who's at fault for what we saw
Everybody,
Thursday? Um,
everybody,
I, hey,
especially the Miami Dolphins franchise itself,
mm,
the whole establishment.
mm,
That's the purpose of them having their own team, their own what they have their own CAT scans. What I can't even think of everything right now, but you know what I mean. They have physical therapists and they have those things. They'll say if their body or something they
the
put yes,
neurologist.
and ice
Yep.
packs and physical therapists and MRIs, all that stuff should have been done. But we were talking about it. How many questions is it really that they have to ask them? Because I feel like he lied. He might have lied just to play a game. That's what I most definitely feel like. So it's two questions.
Y'all already know this. Y'all love Tyreek Hill and all this peace stuff. Yeah, it's two questions usually, and one of them is who's your president. Well, that's kind of a silly question, especially being that the president usually has already been in office for a while. So of course, that's not a hard question to answer or a
You can
question
actually turn on the news that day when
of
they asked the
difficulty.
question. You can
Right.
Google it.
Question of difficulty when you're concussed. So I think that the NFL once again has another integrity issue, but once again, I am going to research more. As you know, there are sports shows that we do for WDAP Radio. Shout out to Angelita. Who's watching right now? Alan, also Waffle Sports, obviously Power 96.5,
Right.
and then Rise Up Family has its own uh, shows, plethora of shows in which we'll touch on that too. But the Buffalo Bills do have to play the Baltimore Ravens coming up. As Lamar Jackson is coming to, we are going to Lamar Jackson Stadium, obviously in Baltimore, for a what should be a preview, maybe of the AFC, one of the AFC divisional games, maybe. Um, Lamar is playing for a contract. Obviously, they have not paid Lamar Jackson yet, which is making Lamar Jackson real hungry. Lamar wants his money. And if I was Lamar, I'd be calling JG Wentworth 877 cash
Where's your
right now.
agent?
Right now.
Where's your agent? Where's your
Lamar
lawyer?
Lamar Jackson is his own agent, by the way, for
Oh,
those who don't know.
so they
Yeah, he's his own agent. He said they
so
didn't have
he
a
the one
contract.
effing up the church's money.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Baltimore offered them something that I would have refused to, especially after you saw Deshaun Watson get $230
Right.
million of guaranteed money, in which we know Deshaun Watson had 22 sexual assault cases against him.
I thought it was about sports. That was the whole like epitome of what the NFL is. That's why they suspend players for the recklessness outside
Oh, he
of the
was
field.
suspended.
Well, yeah, but how do you? Well, I guess you got to build your brand back up, right?
I guess if you're the Cleveland Browns, maybe. I mean,
Maybe
it,
the Detroit Lions. My bad.
ooh, I mean, they listen. They
I said what I said.
right. They suspended them for 11 weeks
Right.
and gave him a $5 million fine, which I don't think is enough for 22 sexual assault. But nevertheless, Lamar Jackson looking for that money.
He
He
wants the
wants his
same
money. He
thing.
wants his bag. He wants that 230 million guaranteed because he feels he deserves it. Which I mean, he's a former NFL MVP. He so that and just that he deserves it. He has one of the best records since he's been in the NFL as a quarterback.
Okay.
He's been in the playoffs multiple times. You got to give this guy respect. And now, for everybody who said that he couldn't throw the football, that was like, oh well, he's just a running quarterback. Well, he's showing this year that he can. He's got 10 touchdowns, which leads the league right now in touchdown passes. So he's showing the league that he can throw the ball. So the Buffalo Bills this week definitely have a test on their hands for sure, and we will talk about it more later on in the week. Now tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow I will be at the Sabres. Real quick, as we talk about sport, I will be at the Sabres preseason game at
You'll
home,
be covering that game.
and I'll be covering it. I'll be at UB right after. I'll be at the UB football game right after that, covering that. So Rise Up Family, Challenger News, Power 96.5. You
We'll
know
be
what we do.
everywhere.
We'll be everywhere. We doing what we do as usual, but we will be there. Shout out to Tyrell Howard, by the way. Shout out to you, my brother. I owe you one, sir, because I've been super busy lately um, with everything that's going on. But I owe you one. Don't think I forgot. I have not forgot. So if this weekend we could do something, let's link together and let's make that happen. With that being said, too, other sports stuff. Serena Williams. You was talking about Serena.
She's going into retirement. I don't know if
Yes.
you guys, you might not follow tennis. You might everybody follows Venus, of course. That's basically the face of
I,
tennis. But she is retiring because she is expanding her family. So, but I don't have her stats right now.
you talking to the stat
Let
man right
let's say
here.
her stats.
The stat man
Let's
right
give her her
here.
flowers.
23.
23.
23 Grand Slam championships.
Right.
23 of them things. She has a plethora of other championships as well. A plethora. I mean, if we went down the list of Serena Williams' accomplishments, it would take up probably half of Let's Talk About It show.
Right.
But she has 23 of
She
them
has
things.
23.
Is she the GOAT to you?
She's the between her and her sister, if you ask me. Now, Serena doesn't really. Venus
It's Venus.
is Venus.
Yeah, Venus.
Yeah, she's like shy, so she's not really limelight, but she still play too, right?
Well, so yeah, Venus still plays here and there, but she's not playing as much as she used to.
So technically, she retired too.
So technically, yeah. I mean,
She's sidelined,
yeah, she's silent.
sidelined.
Oh, sidelined. Oh,
My
silent,
ass.
silent, sideline.
That's who.
Yeah, they. You know what?
One or the other.
Neither one of them are ever silent, but I will say that they are not playing as much as they used to. With that being said, yeah, she doesn't have anything else to prove. I mean,
No,
she was
she really doesn't. It really owes her absolutely nothing. So and she went out with a bang. Like she didn't go out with an injury or like overly or even washed. Like she played her last sport and her last game, I should say, her match, and she did a beautiful job. She actually won it too. So why not
I mean, you guys want it. You guys want numbers. Y'all love numbers.
drop the numbers?
319 weeks at number one ranked in the world. She also had a joint record of 186 consecutive weeks and finished the year out number one times. 5 times. Serena Williams has so many doggone accolades. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Who's the better of the two? It doesn't matter who the
It,
better of the two
it
is.
don't
They're
really.
phenomenal together.
They
Uh,
sisters.
yeah, they sisters. I love them to
It's
death. We already know the answer to that. So you gotta love it. Oh, and then she has my birthday too, which was just this past Monday. Shout out to Serena.
we had
Yeah,
to
she has.
we had to drop that jewel.
Yeah, we had to
Oh,
drop
okay.
that jewel, man. You got my birthday. Great. Have the birthday of September 26th. Okay, there's great.
Right.
Goats, great. Yes.
Okay.
Now, what else?
Dragged it. Um,
Dragged it.
dragged it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we'll just jump into it. Like so local news.
Yeah. It
Why
is.
not? Let's talk about. We just talked about this like basically with the mass shootings. It didn't happen in itself, but it was in the prevention. He basically brought BB guns to the South Park on top. I mean,
Where they mamas at? Where they parents at?
at this point, these people are mentally unstable, so they're doing radical and irrational things. And
Where they parents?
at this point, by it already happening here, there should have been prevention blocks in place, heavily secured. It should be an officer in the parking lot at all times. There should be cameras just like they zoom in at Family Dollars and Generals, and as soon as you touch a napkin, they'll tell you it's recording and we see you. So what if those were real guns this time? And this is a predominantly multicultural area, more predominantly a white area, but more families of many races are in it, right. Most definitely are, in that neighborhood. It's a little bit more diversified now. So, are we playing the race card this time, or are we being woke? or are we sleeping? Because at this point, I feel like we're sleeping.
Why?
Why is it at this point? Do buffalo still have narcolepsy? Because how how did you even allow this man to get across the parking lot
So we got to talk about safety and security all over again.
all over again?
Again. Oh Lord,
Again,
have
and
mercy.
all it was, that's what the fake compensation. And you know what? Guess what? It's an election season, so y'all should have been stepping
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, say it. Let's talk about it. Talk
y'all
about it.
stepping y'all stuff up. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to say something else, like because
Mm-hmm.
this really angers me. It puts me at a point where I'm like really angry because we were about to repeat the same thing. We can never let our guard down. Same thing all the way over again. You absolutely right. We cannot never let our guard down. And it's the same thing with any other communities outside of Buffalo, New York as well. It's happening in a downward spiral, almost like a domino effect. So what do- you know what I mean? Schools are in that area.
Yeah, a lot of schools in that area.
It's South Park,
I
South
ran a store
Side.
over there.
It's a lot of stores over there. So it would have been way more casualties. Way more casualties.
Sad.
And come on, Buffalo, you have to do better. Once again, the election day this year, I believe, is November 3rd. Make sure you guys go out and vote. Don't leave Sister Kathy up in there. She making a mess too. I don't really think she's the best governor for the job.
No empty voting.
Right. If you got to put Mickey Mouse inside the box at the bottom, don't just blindly vote if you don't know who they are. And that's how that has to be. Because at this point, they with them gentrifying Buffalo and everything else that's going on and it's openly happening. Another thing, you notice that they're doing a construction
Mm-hmm.
on Bailey. That is not construction. They've already started to gentrify downtown by City Hall, Niagara Falls. All they're doing is putting permits in place. They're turning these one-way lanes into two-way lanes on a street that is not even protected. Don't think they're not messing with our tax dollars.
Mm.
Just as long as you buy in groceries, well, not food, because that food doesn't have a tax, but anything else, tissue, everything else, that's us paying inside of our communities.